why somebody should buy Bitcoin, or why Chris Osborne should.
Right. That's
should
the
buy
question I need
Bitcoin.
answered.
All right. First thing, if we're looking at the world of cryptocurrencies, there's, I don't know, thousands, 2,000, 3,000, I don't know how many thousands. There's thousands of cryptocurrencies out there now. Different projects, different things being used as money payment systems. Some are being used as protocols. Some are being used as new blockchains to build new technologies. But I think the first reason you would want to buy Bitcoin would be it's the first mover. It's the first application built on the blockchain. It's the one everybody knows the most. It's the most popular. It's the most trusted. And it's probably the most decentralized. So that would be, if I'm looking to like invest money, like which one of these thousands of cryptocurrency should I invest in? Well, Bitcoin would probably be your number one. And for that being the first reason.
Because
first mover, it's like the first one and the most decentralized than all the rest of them, most likely. It's probably the most stable, even though the price does go up and down, but so do all of them, you know.
And why does it fluctuate like that? I mean, we've seen the graph on our last episode.
Well, it fluctuates like that for a few reasons. First reason, it's highly manipulated. So it is such a small market cap. I think the whole market cap's like $1.5 trillion. Because saying in the last episode, there's hedge funds in our country bigger than that. So there's financial conglomerates that are bigger than the whole cryptocurrency market cap, including Bitcoin. So that's one reason, that there's players in the market that are playing with the numbers because they can.
And because they can play with it, why is it trusted? Why is it a trusted?
Well, Bitcoin itself is trusted. It's trusted because you remember why the white paper was written. It was supposed to be a peer-to-peer payment system to eliminate the need for our banks and our government being involved. So they didn't design it to be an investment vehicle. So even though that's it's being used for now, it's being used as an investment, a store of value is what it's being used for. The reason that the price keeps going up and keeps going down is because it's so small. We're so early in this game. Like everybody thinks we're late, and Bitcoin's matured. It's too late to make those 1,000x returns. Well, yeah, maybe, but do you believe in the technology or do you do not believe in it? That's really what it comes down to. And, if you don't believe in it, then you're not going to put any money to it and you're just going to discount it. I think it would be a mistake to do that because I've heard that argument for a lot of years now and it hasn't held up. History has proven that wrong. So the price fluctuating up and down is because it's such a new market. It's so new and it's so small. What's gold? What is gold, Michael? Do you know what the gold market cap is?
Well, I'm going to have to look that up. We'll see.
Is it like 17 trillion? No, it's not that much. What is the gold market cap right now?
We need like the Jeopardy theme song while this loads.
7 trillion? Man, I'm like, I should know that, but
It says about 10 trillion.
10 trillion. But we don't really know because we don't know how much gold's in the ground. Right?
Right.
That could change on a daily. We could find a new mine somewhere, somewhere we haven't discovered yet that has tons of gold, and that could increase the supply. But the price of Bitcoin, you wouldn't think would be going up and down like it does, but that's just because it's so new and nobody really understands it. There's not a lot of people that really understand it. And then you got people that are in the Wall Street world, our old corrupt system, that are looking at this like, okay, how do we make a killing on this? And they're going to make it both ways, right? They're going to, they have, instruments available to them, shorts and puts and, going long, going short. They have all these different ways of making money. So they make money going up, they make money going down. So they want to see it's healthy for an asset to have ups and downs. So that's normal. I think we're seeing extraordinary ordinary moves in percentages. In the stock market, what if the stock market moves 2 or 3%? That's a big deal. If it moved 5%, oh, shit's hitting the fan, or things are going unbelievable, and we're in a bubble. In crypto world, Bitcoin world, if we move 10% in a day, nobody even flinches an eye. You'll see like CNBC or these big news outlets, puts Bitcoin, crashed 10%, but realistically, that's nothing. It could move 30, 40% and still not be that big of a deal if you understand the technology. So the reason it goes up and down is because we're so new to this. People don't really understand it totally, so the emotions are high. So you got a lot of retail investors, small guys that get in, they buy, their $1,000 worth of Bitcoin. It drops down, they panic. Oh, now I'm only got $500 worth of Bitcoin, and they sell. So there's that. Unfortunately, that's a dynamic and more people need to be educated, because the establishment says, hey, you guys, you're not accredited investors, so you shouldn't be involved in any of these things. You're not sophisticated enough. You're not intelligent enough to be able to handle this. That's why there's a thing called accredited investor and a non-accredited investor. I don't know, if you're in the investment world, you understand this well. If you're not, then this is new to you. But do you know what an accredited investor is?
No.
So it was established by basically the powers that be that say, hey, we have to have an instrument that if an investment goes sour and it doesn't pan out, we don't want to hear no shit. We don't want nobody saying anything. Like, you're smart enough to know what you're putting your money into, and if it goes bad, we don't want to hear nothing. That's what an accredited investor is. You're part of a club that says, hey, you're smart enough to know what you're investing your money in. We don't need to have any protections for you or anything like that. If it goes bad, you take the loss, swallow it like a man, and move on. Is what it is.
Keep it moving.
Yep. They realized that the average investor that wasn't like that. Hey, if it went south, they're looking for somebody to sue. Right? I'm up in arms. I lost my $1,000, or I lost my $10,000 or my $50,000. I want somebody to sue. I want somebody to blame. So they had to have a mechanism to keep those two different investors separated. The problem is that an accredited investor, the threshold's pretty high. You got to have basically $1 million liquid, or you got to make a certain threshold in income, along with a certain amount of liquid. I mean, there's parameters that are set, and it's pretty much the 1% of our society will be able to qualify for that. But it's also stating that if you don't fit those parameters, that you're an idiot. You're one of us. You're an idiot on the blockchain, right? You're not intelligent enough to handle these kind of investments. So what blockchain and what Bitcoin did is it not only said fuck you to the banks, it also said fuck you to that hey, we are smart enough to control our own money and our own investments, and we're going to prove it to you by not letting you in. And that's what they did. We beat them to the punch. The crypto market's 1.5 trillion, whatever it is right now, and that was built on retail investors, like developers, people that believed in the technology. That wasn't built on the accredited investor or the big institutional money. So now they're wanting to get in the game, and they're getting into the game. Why
are we letting them in the game?
Well, you don't have no control. They got money and power. When you got money and power, you're going to do what you want. What we can control is being smart and educating ourselves about our money. That's key. That's number one. That's how we continue to win. Like, we've been winning since 2008. And we can keep winning if we keep up with technology and we keep staying in tune with how this technology can keep us free. That's how we win. We're not keeping anybody out of the game. That's the point. You can't keep anybody out of the game. Can you keep people from controlling it? I think so. Maybe that's me being a little naive and philosophical way, but I think education is what's key. I think it's what our podcast can really get across to our viewers, that you can control your own money. And on top of that, if you're responsible enough to do that, then you're responsible enough to control where you invest your money too. But again, that comes down to education, because there's a lot of garbage in this space too. So number 3 reason why you should buy Bitcoin. It is a hedge against traditional investments. Okay, when I say that, it's like a hedge against real estate. It's a hedge against the traditional stock market. It's a hedge against 401ks and your traditional investment vehicles. It's just another aspect, another niche that you can put your money into to help diversify your portfolio. So from just a investment 101 perspective, it's just good to have another egg in your basket, per se, or another basket to put eggs in. So that would be the 3rd reason to buy Bitcoin. 4th reason is it's turning into, and I think it is already, a store of value. So it's a way for you to put money into something that, if you believe in the technology, will be worth more in the future. So
that long run.
Yeah, it's just like gold. And I think anybody that's 30 years and under, they're not buying gold.
No.
They're not buying gold no more. They could care less about gold. What they're buying Bitcoin. If they're looking at the difference of the two, hey, they're both supposed to be a finite supply. They're supposed to be, a way for me to hedge against the dollar and the weakness of the economy, things like that. Bitcoin just makes more sense, plain and simple. And I think it's proven itself now. It took a while to get here, but I think it's well proven. So, store of value. It's a current look into where smart money's putting adoption too. So if you look at all the big, huge entities putting money into it, just do a little bit of research. You could do about 30 minutes of anybody can do this. Just Google institutional money investing in Bitcoin, and just look at the list of companies that are putting not just 100,000 or $1 million. They're putting tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars into Bitcoin. And these companies and these entities aren't idiots. They're not dummies. They're very well, and some of these are publicly traded companies, which means they had to go to their boards and they had to sell this. Hey, we should put 5% of our total liquid assets in the Bitcoin. They had to sell that to a lot of other smart people in the room too. So when you look at these lists of companies and entities that are investing into the future of Bitcoin, are they not smarter than you? Like, what do they know that you don't know? You know, so it's not like you got to follow them, but that's just a big leading indicator that says, hey, this is something that I should have some money into. I should have some skin in the game, because if they're putting heavy into it, then I need to have something in the game. So that's another reason. And the last reason in my mind is just a freedom aspect. Like, there's some form of freedom in controlling your own money and really controlling it.
And that's what most people want, is that freedom.
I think people
that's what they're
do.
Looking for.
Yeah, but I
they
think
just don't know how to get there.
We're fucking lazy in this country. I mean, we've become complacent and lazy. So I think a lot of people want that, but they're not really willing to take extra steps. You know what I mean? Everybody wants everything now and easy. So right now, it's not easy to transact with Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency for that matter. It is not really easy to use it as a payment system, and it doesn't make sense to do that. So that's why I say we're so early in this whole thing. The user experience is not easy. It's not like our cell phones. Our cell phones are easy now, right? We just click on the app, boom, we're right in our bank account. We click on the app, we put in a few things, and boom, we're right to where we want to be on our GPS. Things are easy. We're starting to understand how to use this stuff because it's easy. If we had to put code in to code ourselves to where we wanted to go on our GPS, nobody would use it. Nobody would use it. It wouldn't be easy to use. It wouldn't make sense. So the reason that I think that people should be invested in Bitcoin is because you're investing in what it will be down the road. And where that's going to take us, I don't think anybody really knows. And it's kind of scary as we start getting into some of these new technologies.